In this video, we'll explore how to perform a simple single unit conversion problem. So the question here is, how many feet are between the first and second story of a building? So if you look on your unit conversion sheet, you'll find that a story is 3 meters, and that's just going to be a definition for us. And notice how we wrote 3 meters per story. 1 story equals 3 meters, so we can divide both sides by 1 story to get 1 equals 3 meters over 1 story. You can always multiply anything by 1, it's just that the form of 1 that we're multiplying this by is 3 meters per 1 story. That keeps the 1 story the same. It's just that due to the units canceling, like so, we end up turning it into 3 meters. But it's still the same thing as 1 story, just like before, because all we did is we multiplied by 1. And notice that we multiplied by 1 by having divided both sides by 1 story instead of dividing both sides by 3 meters. In other words, we don't want to convert as saying, okay, let's multiply by 1 story over 3 meters, because then our units would be stories squared per meter, which would just be silly. So we don't want to do that. So the next question is, okay, how are we going to get from meters to feet? We don't know how many meters are in a foot or how many feet are in a meter. So that's not on our conversion. I'm sure we could, on our conversion sheet, I'm sure we could Google it, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to use the fact that we can go from meters to centimeters, and then from centimeters to inches, using that holy definition, the fact that an inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters. And then we'll go from inches to feet. So again, it's always a good idea in these problems to make a plan. So we're going from meters to centimeters. How many centimeters are in a meter? Well, how many cents are in a dollar? There are 100 of them. So how many centimeters are in a meter? There are 100 of them. And this time, again, we want meters in the denominator so that we cancel the meters up here that are in the numerator. So we have 100 centimeters per meter. And there they go. They've canceled. Meters divided by meters is 1, so they cancel. So now we've turned 1 story into some number of centimeters. And next, we use the fact that an inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters to multiply by 1, which is in the form of 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. That cancels the centimeters and leaves us with inches. You should memorize that 1 inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters. It's a very useful conversion. Also, the more of these simple conversions that you memorize, the easier it is to form a plan of how to go forward with these types of problems. So finally, we're ready to turn inches into feet. We all know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot, so we multiply by 1 foot over 12 inches to cancel the inches. And then we shove the numbers into a calculator. We have 3 times 100 divided by, open parentheses, 2.54 times 12, close parentheses, and this gives 9.84, etc., feet. Now, all of these conversions were exact, so we could actually keep going with this if we really wanted to. But usually in that case, it's a good idea to be sensible and just round the final answer to maybe 2 or 3 significant figures, which in this case turns out to be 9.84 feet. So that's how you perform a simple unit conversion problem involving just a single initial unit, where we do end up going across systems of units, in other words, from metric to standard.